Welcome back to Slow Accurate Battle Simulator. My name is Crow, and today we have a brand new unit brought to you by the amazing modder Fern, who was the gentleman who initially made the God Powers mod. And this is the Beyblade mod. I'm not kidding, Beyblade, like the little spinny metal things that take out your ankles. This is the Beyblade mod. It might not look like one, but this unit will summon them. And apparently, Fern has put a lot of work into the artificial intelligence and the tracking and the movement of the Beyblades, and I'm very curious to see how well they're gonna function. I think this will be the perfect level to test the Beyblades against each other. Then we're gonna test them against different units, and then maybe take them into some custom campaigns to ruin people's lives with Beyblades. So over here we have the unit 750 points. I'll put one Beyblade unit here and one Beyblade unit here. We'll start the match and we'll see. Okay, pause. They've summoned the Beyblades. Take a look at this. It's actually a very, very cool looking unit. The detail that has gone into this unit is fantastic. It even says dragon on the top. That is very cool. Now, the Beyblades, oh, whoa, they just took out the legs of these units and went flying off into the sky. I lost sight. Oh, there it is. There it is. Beyblade is falling back down and they're zooming around the enemy. So the blue Beyblade is attacking the red unit just like that, and it seems to be cutting them up with the blades. I thought the Beyblades would go after each other, but apparently they don't. Interesting. So let's take one Beyblade unit, and then we'll start with, there's a handful of hobbits. I kind of want to see what this blade is going to do to a group, and there it goes. It's zooming in, and it starts to take out the ankles of the hobbits, but not dealing a whole bunch of damage. But luckily, the unit can summon more than one Beyblade. In fact, they've already got 3 on the field, and those 3 Beyblades continue to mow through the army. So if we increase the number of halflings, no, like seriously, I'm gonna put a stupid number of halflings here. And then let's say we summon a handful more Beyblades. Points 2250 to 10,000. The Hobbits' points outnumber them 4 to 1. Out come 3 Beyblades. Now, I want to see. One got stuck. Yo, check the Beyblade. Just put a swath through all these units. Their momentum is way better than I expected. Now, here comes another Beyblade. Another 3 Beyblades coming in and completely decimating this line of hobbits. So far, the Beyblade is pretty good. Yo, the Beyblade has ruined these hobbits. So these things are fantastic at messing up small HP targets, especially if there's a lot of them. And the Beyblades have a weird... I'm sorry, I got distracted by the Beyblades. They have a weird movement. If you notice, I'm in slow-mo, but the movement is very jittery, and they hover along the ground perfectly. How many Beyblades can we get on the screen at once? I think that's the question that begs to be answered. And so far, these red units, these Beyblade units, are quite good. Now, before we do the numbers test, I want to test how much damage the Beyblade does. So I'm going to possess the Ice Giant and then watch how fast my HP goes down. So boom, grab the Ice Giant. Here comes the Beyblade, looking at my HP, and it's not moving. Is it because I'm not moving? The Beyblade's just kind of playing around my ankles right now. They're not doing a whole lot. And I'm not taking a lot of damage. Now, if I start walking, the Beyblades are able to move around my ankles and deal damage, but clearly they don't deal a lot. It would take a massive amount of Beyblades to deal any significant damage to an Ice Giant like this. The Beyblades are great against armies, not good against boss units. And it seems to me that there's a limited number of Beyblades that can be summoned unless the Beyblades are falling through the map. Yeah, you notice that? Watch that closely. Look, watch, ready? And then one of them drops through the map. Now, what I want to do is I want to test. I want to check and see. The Beyblades end up down here? No, I don't see the Beyblades down here at all. So is that just the Beyblade disappearing as the Ice Giant punches the Beyblade summoner? Yeah. Question, can the Beyblades die to damage? If I do this, but on the flip side, I take the pirate units and I do a whole bunch of bomb throwers. I want the bomb throwers to land amongst the Beyblades. I want to see if they can take damage and be destroyed. Here comes a whole bunch of Beyblades, went through all the armies. Can the armies throw bombs and damage the Beyblades? It doesn't seem to. These explosions are occurring amongst the Beyblades, and they're not quite dying. See, look at that. Look at those examples. The Beyblades are immune to damage. I think what happens is the developer Fern made it so that only maybe 3 or 4 Beyblades can be summoned by one summoner unit at a time, as the Beyblades just mow through all these bombing units. My goodness. The best large army destroying. It's fantastic. Another test. Can I possess a Beyblade? Okay, so I'm going to go nice and close to it, and I'm going to try and possess it. Is it considered a unit or is it a weapon? Nope, nothing. I'm tapping the button as hard as I can. Nothing. It does not get possessed. It is a weapon. It's a tool. A tool with, well, seemingly amazing accuracy, but a tool nonetheless. Oh, here's a question. Beyblades versus something that floats, such as a Reaper. Will the Beyblades be able to affect the Oh, it did. Well, it kind of ramps off this thing. But no, the Reaper is floating above the Beyblades. We're just kind of following beneath them. And the Reaper is just gonna mess with, yeah, that's pretty obvious. Now for the test, I'm going to regret more than anything that I've probably done ever. I'm just gonna do 30 of these things, okay? That's how we're gonna start, right? Just 30 of them. And I'm gonna grab a whole bunch of horse units, just a whole bunch of jousters, right? I wanna see these horses get destroyed by Beyblades. Here we go. Beyblades are coming out and they move into the ranks of the horses, and the horses kind of ignored them. Their little goofy legs kind of ignore the Beyblades. I mean, sure, they do a little bit of damage, but these guys don't care. They're moving in on the summoners and completely destroying them. The Beyblades are not super effective against something with, well, 4 legs instead of 2. And this fight is pretty much over, even though the Beyblades are doing a little bit of damage. Yeah, no, that's just disgusting. The first test we have is against the tribal faction. Equal points, roughly 7,500 Beyblades versus the tribal faction. Can the tribes get close enough to the summoners? Oh, a couple summoners are down before the Beyblades do the work. Now, the mammoth is, for me, the really big test. Oh my god, he's being juggled by the Beyblades. The mammoth can't do anything. He's like walking on a skirt of Beyblades, on like a sheet of Beyblades. He can't do it. He can't get close enough. Are you kidding me? Now it is time for the farmer faction test, including our boy Larry. 3 of them, the 3 Larry brothers, are coming in. Farmers against Beyblades. Out go the Beyblades. I kind of forgot that they have this choke point here. Okay, we've got a wagon in. No, wagon got knocked away. Oh, it's like a locust swarm of Beyblades. That wasn't even close. Now we have the Knight faction. A little bit more power, a little bit more units, and in return, a whole lot more Beyblades. Oh my god. The Knights are kind of holding their ground. No, the Beyblade Locust Swarm is moving in on the Knights, completely destroying them. The catapults just got ruined. The king is still alive, being healed by his healers as the Beyblades prevent them from getting even close. To me, it seems like ranged units are going to be the only answer to these Beyblade summoners, because if you can't get to the summoners, the Beyblades, they fly into the sky just like this. And the Beyblades have kicked the king off the map, and clearly they are absolutely victorious. Beyblades against the ancient faction. In go the snake archers, and this might prove to be quite advantageous, except for the Beyblades are coming all the way back and accidentally messing up their own units in their mission to get to the snakes. It messed up a whole boatload of Beyblade summoners, and we've actually cut our numbers in about half. Meanwhile, on this side, the snake archers are still alive, using their snakes to kind of distract, which is a fascinating. How did this Beyblade summoner get over here? Yo, Mr. Beyblade summoner, hi, you're dead. That's hilarious. Beyblade's flying into the sky. The lag on my computer is intense, making it very hard to control. Most of the snake artists have been ruined. The minotaurs have been destroyed. There are still a bunch of Beyblade summoners over here. This fight is pretty much over as the swarm moves in on Mr. Zeus himself. Yep, and that's it. Mr. Zeus in a corner, got wrecked by the Beyblades. I have a lot of faith in this faction. The Valkyries should be able to avoid the Beyblades, and the Berserkers should be able to get in there if not for the first layer of Beyblades being fought. And then the Ice Archers in the back. I have a fair amount of faith in this faction's ability to get to the summoners and stop the Beyblade slaughter. So far, so good. The Valkyries are in, and they're still kind of fighting these Beyblades. Like, this is a little bit awkward over here. Still lots of Valkyries alive. Not so many summoners, guys. I think the Viking faction might be the first faction to actually do their job. Meanwhile, all of these units in the back are getting wrecked by the Beyblades. Still a handful of flyers around. Whole bunch of flyers over here. Are they being pushed off the map? Nope, this Valkyrie is still fighting these summoners. The summoner is still alive. My lag is completely destroying everything. Beyblades falling off the map. And there are still about a half dozen summoners alive. I thought this faction had what it took to win, but clearly no, the Beyblades said otherwise. The Beyblades destroyed the Vikings. Now, the Dynasty faction has a lot of range. For example, oh, these firework arrows are going to do some work in these lines when they explode. Should have some AoE damage going on. And not to mention the Hwachas, there's AoE damage blowing up a whole bunch of them, dealing damage. Still plenty of them still alive. In fact, most of them are still alive, while the Beyblades have completely destroyed everything over here. Oh my god. This poor monk is trying to live. The Beyblades just want to get in on him and ruin his day. And there it is. I thought this faction had a chance. They weren't even close again. This is interesting. The Renaissance faction has a lot of range damage. The Musketeers, the Balloon Archers, that's a lot of range damage and might make a difference here. Not to mention the Da Vinci tank, but here are the Beyblades already in, destroying the back line of the Renaissance, dragging them forward. They do a lot of crowd control. You know what I mean? Like these melee units, they're not even gonna get a chance to hit the summoners, though the horses are getting a little close, and there's actually a lot of dead summoners on the field. Check that out. Do we finally have it? Do we finally have the faction that could ruin the summoners? Oh, nope. A bunch of the summoners have stood up, summoned even more Beyblades, and the Beyblades are continuing to spawn in, creating this tidal wave, this ocean tidal wave of death, destruction, and mayhem. It's really insane. Now the Beyblades are in on the Da Vinci tank. The Da Vinci tank holding strong, but unable to shoot the Beyblades because they're not real units. They're just weapons. And now they're dragging the Da Vinci tank around like a magical carpet ride, and poor Da Vinci on the inside was no match for the Beyblade. Pirate faction versus Beyblades. Now we have a whole lot of range damage occurring, hitting the front line. Harpooners bringing the summoners in. Do we have enough damage? Bombs blowing up the summoners. There's a lot of range damage in the pirate faction. And the Harpooners are bringing the summoners in to hopefully get killed by the Pirate Queen or the Captain. But the Beyblades are starting to do work and killing everything in sight. Lots of summoners are dead. Guys, there's only 4 summoners left standing. That was as close as we've come, but the pirates are not good enough. Now we have the Spooky faction. Fire arrows being shot, catapults going in, Beyblades destroying the front line. We do have hovering mind swords, swordcasters, which could be fascinating, and a whole bunch of the summoners are being hit by their own Beyblades again. The vampires have moved in. They're trying to get in on the summoners, not working so well. The Beyblades are ruining the vampires. But these swordcasters, the Reaper, the things that hover above the Beyblades, is this the faction to finally put the summoners out of their misery, to finally end everything? That's the main question. Oh, swordcasters are dying. They're killing themselves. The Reaper is still alive. If he can continue to hover above the Beyblades, the Reaper has a chance to do something that no other unit has done. The catapult launchers are still no, they're dead. Never mind. I stand corrected. Reapers being juggled, Beyblades flying all throughout the sky, successfully hitting the Reaper, who has skewered 2 of the summoners with his tentacles. The Beyblades are keeping him at bay. They're keeping him away. And maybe, just maybe, they have enough damage and crowd control to do this until victory. That's it, guys. The Reaper was destroyed, and these Beyblade units, they're too good.